यहाँ está Floyd Mayweather. यहाँ está Crawford.
Hey, listen up, please.
I think Terrence Crawford right now in the sport of boxing is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in the position that he's in. I think he has a
Floyd and watching Shakur fight. I mean, really, you got Floyd and Crawford are two generational greats, and you got another one in the ring sparring in Shakur Stevens.
He's great, one of the greats that laced up the gloves. And so it's my job as a trainer, it's a job of Saul, job of Red, whoever else is coming in camp with us, Bernie, to lead him to that win.
A lot of people make
Crawford now has two personalities in his corner, each with their own goal, to feed him the secrets to outbox Canelo. Floyd Mayweather and Israel Madrimov. Floyd Mayweather has made it obvious that this fight is about outthinking and outlasting Canelo, not simply overwhelming him, and he is teaching Crawford exactly how to do so.
your last opponent, Crawford, going up to fight Canelo. It's a big challenge.
Yeah. This is too interesting fight. If
in the best current
12 rounds, I think it's Crawford win. If early TKO, Canelo.
Thank you. Good luck, Israel.
Floyd Mayweather stated in a recent interview that this is the biggest fight of the decade, and it will demand the most preparation. It's not about who hits harder, it's about who can outthink and beat their opponent. Mayweather stated during a recent training session with Crawford that their partnership is more than just a passing collaboration, it is a deliberate effort to craft a strategy that echoes the lessons learned from Mayweather's 2013 masterclass against Canelo, the night he handed the Mexican star his first and only clear loss.
Canelo, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50 fight?
Crawford has also been studying with Israel Madrimov, a fighter who helped Dmitry Bivol in preparing for his spectacular upset over Canelo in 2022. Madrimov is known for his angles. Crawford's camp is special because to the relentless pressure and outscheduling Crawford and Madrimov faced off in August 2024, with Crawford winning a 12-round decision, although the fight showed some troubling indicators. Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, described the fight as a mixed bag. "I give him an A-", Bomac stated when asked to rate Crawford's performance. "He boxed his tail off for that fight, and Madrimov didn't do what we expected."
Believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
However, not everyone saw things that way. Fans were less enthused, pointing out that Crawford took numerous hard right hands from Madrimov, hits that dramatically snapped his head back and appeared to unsettle him, despite the victory. Many onlookers said Crawford looked every bit his 37 years, giving him a C for performance. He utilized his jab frequently and tried to entice Madrimov to interact with him more, but Madrimov refused. Bomac added, "I asked him if he was strong, and he said he was physically strong, but his punch lacked pop." Bomac claimed that some of Madrimov's shots were surprisingly straight and accurate, which took Crawford off guard.
I don't gotta stop him. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with a hard shot, but he's able to roll.
That right hand he was throwing, I didn't think he'd throw it that straight. We expected it to loop like GGGs, so it surprised me, he said. Although despite the criticism, Crawford's team thinks the Madrimov fight was the ideal preparation for Canelo. Bomac thinks Crawford's skills will translate nicely to the super middleweight division at 150 pounds. Crawford is unaffected, focusing on the job at hand and the legacy at risk. According to Bomac, Crawford's thinking is clear. He told me what he's been telling the world. That's the fight I want, Canelo. I want to leave a lasting memory and go out on top.
Kovalev
was older. He does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo?
A tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life, and I always came out on top.
Bomac has also revealed that he is studying the Mayweather and Bivol fights against Canelo, getting insight from two fighters that exposed Canelo's weaknesses against skilled, evasive boxes. He made him move his feet back, referring to Bivol's method, assuming the bout ever happened. That's the bout I'd see again. Mayweather versus Canelo 2. This presents Canelo with a new problem. He must now prepare for a version of Crawford that blends Mayweather's defensive prowess with Madramov's physicality and unpredictable nature. This might put Canelo in a predicament he has previously troubled with, chasing a moving target while being tangled up in close quarters.
You're not a 54-pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he would grab me or move. For the bigger guy, you should have been walking me down. You should have been bullying me. Canelo can say, what do you say?
He just doesn't feel like you're a 54-pounder. He believes that you're a real weight class. And
Our real weight class is 168.
It's not Canelo trolling.
I just want to know if I'm too small for 168. A lot of people my whole life been doubting me. Right. I know I'm smaller than Canelo.
Crawford will move like crazy after landing and tie up Canelo as he closes the gap, according to Bomac, who laid out the basic outline for their game plan. This approach is meant to deny Canelo the clean, powerful strikes that had made him a fearsome puncher at 168 pounds, but the risks are not just physical, but also reputational. If Canelo fails to defeat a much smaller boxer in Crawford, the results might be catastrophic. All Crawford has to do is make Canelo work hard to beat him, and he'll be praised as the winner afterwards, Bomac said, adding that this fight is as much about image as it is about performance. In the same way that Canelo may never receive full credit for defeating a lightweight like Gervonta Davis, he fears a similar storyline if he cannot easily defeat Crawford.
Believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
Dmitry Bivol had already watched how Crawford defeated Canelo. When the Russian powerhouse spoke with Andy Clark of Ring magazine, he expressed a level of faith in Crawford that few could have expected. Bivol, the undisputed light heavyweight champion who outboxed Canelo in a dominant performance in 2022, wasn't afraid to accept the size challenge. The first response is, of course, about Crawford's size. Bivol conceded that the smaller man faced an uphill fight against the super middleweight behemoth.
Crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that.
What jumped out was Bivol's review of Crawford's physical metamorphosis. He recently saw Crawford in Dubai and noticed that the WBA super welterweight champion looked impressively bulked up. He's one of my favorite fighters, Bivol stated that despite the size gap, he sees a road to win for the Omaha native. He's capable of winning this bout, he said without hesitation, adding that Crawford's skill set gives him a legitimate chance despite his physical disadvantages. The main test, according to Bivol, will be whether Crawford can handle the unique pressure of fighting at 168 pounds, which is a significant change. For Bivol, it's not just about the power, but also about the mental and physical adaptations needed to take punches from a larger, stronger fighter while maintaining your own will. Nonetheless, he stays optimistic, saying that he has good capabilities.
Make of the fight with Crawford and Canelo that's likely to be announced.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo. Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not.
Crawford's chances suddenly look a lot more promising with endorsements like this from those who have already cracked the Canelo code, as well as help from Madrimov. Trainer Robert Garcia has stated clearly that he expects Terence Crawford to dominate the first half of his fight against Canelo Alvarez in September. Garcia expects Crawford to win 5 or 6 of the early rounds, which would be terrible for Canelo. It's a big prediction, but one based on the idea that Crawford's technical prowess, ring IQ, and quick timing will overwhelm the Mexican superstar before he can establish his groove.
This fight now with Crawford is gonna make it a better fight. I think it's a very close fight. Now I switch. I always thought Canelo was gonna be too big, too strong, but now I'm gonna pick Crawford to win this fight. Crawford is very talented, great footwork, great combinations, and a very strong fighter. Facing him off, he's actually the taller man. So I'm leaning towards Crawford now. I switch my opinion. I think Canelo looked too slow, too flat-footed. One punch at a time.
Garcia's perspective is clear. If Crawford creates a substantial early advantage, Canelo will struggle to turn the tide late in the fight. Giving Crawford a 5 or 6 round lead is a formula for failure. Once ahead, the Omaha native will have the freedom to choose his spots, jab, move, and tie up Canelo anytime the Mexican juggernaut tries to close the gap. This is the same tactic Floyd Mayweather Jr. applied to frustrate and outpoint a young Canelo in their 2013 bout, which is still considered one of Canelo's most important teachings.
I think Crawford is looking at just a huge fight with Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he might not even fight anymore. Because he's told me that before. But there's so many other fights out there too. We'll just take it fight by fight with Virgil.
As for Canelo,
I think a fight with Terence Crawford will be big. Even though a lot of people would think it's a total mismatch, I think Crawford puts up a good fight.
For Garcia, Canelo's only way to win is to take control early, imposing his stature and power before Crawford gets into a rhythm. Garcia told Co-Artist Sports, "Use your skills and speed to fight on the outside," and he has skills. He is a very talented fighter, but he also knows that Canelo cannot afford to sit back and let Crawford set the pace. If the Mexican fighter tries to catch up in the later rounds, he risks running into Crawford's well-placed counters and crisp combos.
I've spent more time with Crawford, so I would love to see Crawford pull it off. I would be more happy to see Crawford win, because I know him better. I see him develop in Top Rank. Top Rank actually were asking for our opinion before they signed him.
What'd you say?
What do you guys think? Mikey said, he's a great fucking fighter, sign him.
The power dynamic is important. Canelo has built his career on being the stronger, more physically fearsome fighter, capable of breaking down even the most formidable opponents with his blistering combinations and granite chin. He is not the type of boxer who can count just on punches and elegance, which is why his aggressive forward marching style has been so successful. It's a technique that worked against bigger, stronger rivals like 193-pound Edgar Berlanga and Jaime Munguia in previous fights, where he pushed his way to emphatic wins. However, Crawford, while gaining weight, offers a unique set of obstacles. Bout Canelo, done deal. It looks that the fight has been signed. What are your thoughts about this fight, man? Yes, that is a great battle for boxing. I know some people disagree, but if Canelo fights even a little part of the wrong bout, he will lose. If he comes out and fights the proper fight, it will be a tough battle. Therefore, I think it will go away for now, but Crawford is not just a superb technician, but also a highly flexible fighter. He has displayed superior ability to swap stances, regulate range, and make mid-fight changes. However, it is unclear whether those talents will be successful against a physically larger opponent such as Canelo, who is known for his devastating body blows and fight-changing power. Garcia has some doubts about this, too. I could be wrong, but Canelo is extremely skilled. Let us not underestimate him. Garcia said, Crawford is very talented, with great footwork, great combinations, and a very strong fighter. He's facing him off, and he's the taller man, so I'm pulling towards Crawford right now. I changed my mind. Canelo looks to be moving too slowly and unsteadily. I don't think he'll be able to beat Crawford just hitting one punch at a time. Crawford is also too fast, but I see Crawford winning the first few rounds and half of the fight, with Canelo forcing himself to pressure and control that way. This viewpoint acknowledges Canelo's potential to struggle early on yet recover as the fight continued. It's a scenario that hangs on the Mexican superstar's ability to absorb Crawford's initial attack and reply with his own crushing offensive. Meanwhile, Crawford's coach, Bernie the Boxer Davis, paints a totally different picture. Davis believes Crawford will not be on the back foot against Canelo, dismissing the idea that the three-division world champion will be forced into a defensive shell. When you see Crawford, he's going to go in there and get busy with Canelo. Davis told pro boxing fans, Crawford has never been on the back foot in a fight in his life. Do you understand? While Davis is certainly excited about his fighter's prospects, the truth is a little more nuanced. Crawford's last fight against Israel Madrimov, albeit winning by decision, did not inspire trust. Crawford took a number of clean blows and is slower than normal, causing concerns about how he would handle the even bigger, stronger Canelo Madrimov, who, while physically tough, isn't on the same level as the Mexican superstar in terms of power and precision.
Fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 160?
Davis' confidence could possibly be hiding some underlying problems. He talks about Crawford as if he were still in his prime, yet at 38 and fighting 2 divisions above his natural weight. Crawford faces a difficult struggle. He's the type of person who will go grab you. Davis added, so expect him to go after Canelo. We will do everything we can for him, as well as everything we must do. However, the idea that Crawford can simply stroll down Canelo is questionable, if not downright dangerous. Canelo is a master at drawing opponents into exchanges where his power and timing become deadly. Fighters who have tried to outmuscle him or pressure him without the right plan have paid the price. Just ask Jermall Charlo, who found himself battered and outclassed by Canelo's relentless pressure and punishing counters in their 2023 battle. I don't think Canelo watched Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of facing him at 68. I think for Canelo, it's more about the credibility he gets via victory. I think he's a little bit apprehensive because I've told him in the past that if he beats a guy who's moving up from 147 to 168, he's not going to receive the credit for it, so we'll see. Because money talks. Yaron Ennis' father, Busi Ennis, has also commented on the fight, acknowledging both the risks and rewards for Crawford and believing that mobility is important to confounding Canelo. Canelo gets annoyed when he can't touch you. According to Ennis, Crawford is the type of boxer who can move while making Canelo miss, possibly compelling the Mexican star to make mistakes. Ennis went even farther, claiming that Crawford has the ability to stop Canelo if he catches him at the right time. I think Terence is going to do what he's going to do. Terence might stop him, Ennis said strongly. It's a strange viewpoint, given that Canelo possesses one of the most durable chins in boxing, having never been stopped or badly injured in his career.
Do what he do, man. I think Terence might stop him. He might stop him, man. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Canelo Alvarez got one of the best chins.
Yeah, but man, listen, he ain't been hit by Terence though. Terence can punch, man. You know what I mean? I know he's been in with some of the great punches and all that, but them punches got to be placed right. You know what I mean? And Terence placed some punches, man. Them body shots, man. I don't see too many people.
When reminded of Canelo's famed chin, Ennis doubled down. I haven't been punched by Terence, but I know he's been in there with some great punchers, but the punches have to be placed properly. This is an important point. While Canelo's chin stands up to Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev, Crawford's blows have the potential to offer a unique threat because to their speed, precision, and timing. If Crawford can catch Canelo with a clean, well-placed punch, the fight may shift dramatically. However, Executing that level of precision against a boxer as seasoned and defensive as Canelo is more said than done.
The others say like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many.
As the fight approaches, these opposing views highlight how unpredictable this contest truly is. On the one side, you have Crawford's technical brilliance and versatility, as a boxer who has never been beaten. On the other hand, you have Canelo's sheer power and constant aggression, a man who has risen through the ranks to become one of the sport's most feared punchers. It's a classic clash of styles that promises to test both fighters' limitations and may come down to who can force their will throughout 12 tough rounds. But how do you see things going? Please share your views below and subscribe for future updates.